This is a test. Hello everyone. Thanks for watching YouTube tonight. It's bank holidays. I know it's a bit cold outside. Hope you're doing well where you are. I'm in London. I'm in Peckham, actually in South London. The weather is really, I don't know, unlikely. I'm going to tune a little bit my guitar to make sure the notes are quite even and nice to hear. Seems to be fine. Thank you so much for being here. So the reason of this concert is that I was very kindly and very nicely invited by the Institute of Modern Language Research. It's within the School of Advanced Studies at the University of London. So thank you, Elizabeth Temley, for inviting me to perform my music and also talk about the language I used in writing songs, and maybe have some interaction with you. I know it's a bit bizarre because obviously as a performer we used to interact 1+1 or hopefully a bit more in gig context, but please, you can use the live chat. Let me know if everything is working fine as well, and just in case. And thanks again. I'm a bit nervous. I've got the stage fright. It's not because I'm alone in this room that I can't have it, but it's a nice feeling as well because it can be very exciting. So just a few words more about this project we're here for. So it's part of the Open World Research Initiative's Cross-Language Dynamic Project. And this organization explores the role languages in shaping communities. So basically, they explore translingualism, which is how you change language between communities and between language within communities. So it's particularly interesting to me because, as my accent gives you, I'm French. And I used to travel quite a lot in one decade ago, especially in the United States, and in South America, in Brazil and Argentina. So I'm going to start this show with a Spanish song I wrote with my friend Javier a few years ago, and it's called Partiendo desde cero. And it's about starting from scratch, wherever, whatever, and whenever you are in your life. Okay, music. Globas letras que estallan dentro del this song is one of the first songs I published as a solo artist. It's from my first EP, which was called, it's still called, Les Etoiles à ma Porte. And I started quite early wanting to mess a bit with my native language. Lots of French stuff, actually. I write, I do. It's just obvious reasons. It's the most natural language for me, and sometimes it's a bit difficult to express some of your inner truth other than your language. But sometimes it's bizarre because you can inadvertently say stuff very interesting using combinations you wouldn't use as a native. So depends on the context. I'm going to start playing another song taken from my album Le Continent. It's the first time I'm playing this song live. It's called Chemin Croisé. It means crossroad in English. It's not a funny one. This one's about a breakup. Very happy I played it for you for the first time. We're going to follow on with a few songs from Le Continent. This one is another song in French called Les Naufragés. It's taken from an anthropology text, actually. It sounds a bit pretentious, sorry. But it's called the same title. It means the castaways in English, and it's a study in Paris in the early 2000s about people who are living on the street, and it's a great book, actually. It's very accessible, and so yeah, I was very. It was one of my favorite books, so I'm going to play this song. You. I'm going to play. What I'm going to play? I'm going to play a beautiful bilingual ballad called Le Mont Olympe, or Mount Olympus in English. It's also taken from my album called Le Continent. This vinyl. It was released recently on an amazing Scottish label called Lost Map Records, and you should check their catalog because they have an amazing range of different artists. I could quote them, but I'm going to forget some great people. Yeah, it's so different. It's between indie rock and I don't know, jazz, everything actually. Everything interesting can happen on Lost Map Records. It's wonderful people. I want to say hello to them. Le Mont Olympe, or Mount Olympus. going to follow on with my next single actually. It's called Elixir. And I can tell you, because there is a version, if you know my album already, there is a version recorded on the album. And this one is going to be very, very different. I mean, it's the same song, but not the same lyrics. And, well, you'll really be treated with a surprise, hopefully. So Elixir, it's a bilingual term, so I don't need to translate. you for listening. I'm going to play another song from Le Continent. It's an old song actually. It's one of the first I wrote. It's about absurd dreams. It doesn't have any meaning actually, to be honest. It's about, dreams. Yeah, it's easy with dreams. You can do whatever you want. You don't do that very well in films. Usually, like, it's very bad when the ending of a film is, oh, it was just a dream. So, but in a song, doesn't matter. I mean, don't want to be like this song, don't get me wrong. It's called Demi-soupir. It's a pun actually. It's a pun that means also half rest in French. The musical notation when you need to stop playing a note. Yeah, pun doesn't translate well. So Demi Soupir. Yeah, those songs, many of them are really cool, played with a band. I'd like to salute my lovely partners in crime, James Howard, Jack Baraclough, Thomas Broda, Raymond Wong, and many other people who played with me in my album, French guys as well. I had incredible luck recently to, first of all, I spent like holidays in France, which was quite nice after this long lockdown, and to spend a week touring and cycling with a fantasy orchestra. And it's a very multilingual thing as well, because it's based in Paris, it's based in Bristol, hopefully one day in London. And yeah, it was just such a treat and such good thing for your soul to being able to just playing music first and like in front of people, and obviously following some rules. At the moment it's hard. I mean, you need to, it's good to do it of course, but it made me realize how important it is, and I'm really looking forward to that. Though I have to say it's quite interesting, this exercise in playing live stream shows. So thank you again, Elizabeth. Thank you, the Institute, for inviting me of research. Okay, I'm talking a bit too much now. I'm going to play a new song. It's in English, and it's called Isolated, and it's a song about, I'm still talking. It's a song about, I'll let you know after the song. It's called Isolated, and it's a song about so there was this American guy it was 2 years ago. He wanted to evangelize what they call a tribe, one of the last like uncolonized territories in the Indian Ocean, and upon arrival he got hit by an arrow. It's a bit gloomy, a bit sad. I mean, it's a bit sad. Yeah, it is sad, of course, but it's also about like, yeah, don't mess with cultures and basically, yeah, I'm a bit cheeky with this song actually, but I'm going to play another song written by my friend James Howard, who's an amazing musician. He used to have a band called Blue House. They made 2 amazing albums, and he's got many side projects. He plays with Dana Gavanski, Alabaster, dePlume, amazing indie artists in London, or based in London. And so we recorded this song together 2 years ago at Abbey Road Studio. 3 years ago now, wow. And we got super lucky with that. Meeting like an amazing producer who worked with Prince, Hans Martin Buff. And anyway, so this song is about a train line in London that used to carry bodies to like faraway Victorian cemeteries, because the Victorian cemeteries in London, the 7 Magnificent, are they called? I think we call that this way. You can tell me in the comments. So they were too busy, and so they had to build another one, and so they created this train line to carry bodies. Yeah, my songs are very gloomy actually, but it's not a sad song. It's more about like the absurdist tale about, you know, your last train on your life. So let me sing this song. It's called A Ticket for the London Necropolis Railway. Tout un programme, as we say in French. I'm lying in a second class space that feels so far. I'm here because I want to go, but now I'm here, I really just don't know. Train roll along, 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 along. Train roll on. Take me home. there is a single for that we released a few years ago. You can find it easily on YouTube and on streaming platforms. And there is also a video of that I made. I'm also a film editor actually, and I use some footage from the silent era. I'm quite proud of that film because I really like combining archive and this is like old trains colluding with families, and yeah, it's a nice image of like the first half of the 20th century in Britain. I'm going to follow on the program. What do we have on the menu? I'm just checking my set list. A lot of them already. I'm going to try two old stuff. One old song I made a few years ago. It's called La Dernière Ivresse. The last ivresse is when you're drunk, and it's like an absurdist tale about someone who is drowning into her thoughts, and she's doing fine actually. So yeah, it's a song. I used to have a band in Paris called Water Babies, and we made this little record with a fantastic French composer I'd like to salute called Oruni. You can, if you're interested. I'm going to play the song first. So it's called La Dernière Ivresse. La was La Dernière Ivresse. It's the first time playing this song live, stage right. I'm going to try another song for the first time, taking risks tonight, but that's really a game, and that's really fun too. It's a cover, and I thought it was the perfect cover for the content. So first of all, because I love Caetano Veloso, this amazing Brazilian composer, still active. I think it's it's not 80 yet, but almost. He's a legend, and he used to live in London in the early 70s for exile reasons, like he had to fly away from Brazil, which was, as it is today, unfortunately, a dictatorship. And it was another context, another guys, and this song is called You Don't Know Me. And it's a song Caetano wrote in London and recorded in English and in Portuguese. And it's, I don't know, I always identify a lot with this song first, and I don't know why, I just like, it's a fantastic album as well called Transa, which is a pun in Portuguese between salacious stuff and also a trance, like when you're dancing techno on a rave party. But it wasn't a rave party at the time. So You Don't Know Me. I really recommend this record by Caetano Veloso. Thank you for listening. This song is called You Don't Know Me by Caetano Veloso. I'm going to play a couple of songs, and then I'm going to talk to you online. it's it's really nice for me to be here. Like, thank you again, Elizabeth. I've got like a bit of adrenaline right now. I'm going to change guitars, so I'm sparing you too much detuning, which I would do in live, but I'm in live. Oops, this sound is not welcome though. So this song I'm going to play now is called Sans Visage, and it's taken from Le Continent, my album, which is here. It's my first album, my first long play. So if you like the music, please, you can consider supporting me. But also, I think it's a beautiful object, and there is a CD inside. So yeah, edited, released on Lost Map Records. And so this song is called Sans Visage, and this is the last song of the album, but it's not the last song tonight. There is another one coming after this one. sans visage, and I'm going to play my last song and answer to you maybe your questions on the live chat. I see John. Thank you, John. I'm going to reply to your question just after the show, after Le Continent. I'm going to tune my guitar a little bit. It deserves a bit of tuning. Thank you very much for listening. I've got a kind of app on my phone to do that. And this song is called Le Continent. It's the title track from my album. And there is a video we shot in Richmond Park like almost a year ago now. Yeah, time went nuts with this lockdown thing because I don't know, feels like it was yesterday, but it was a long break as well. Thank you for listening. always crazy with this song. It was Le Continent. Was the last song. Thank you so much for listening. But the show is not over because we're going to have a little Q&A together. Thank you. I'm seeing already a few questions on the YouTube live chat. So let me have a look. How does Joan? Hello, Joan. So how does songwriting help you deal with the strange spirit of the times we live in? Ooh, that's a bold question. That is writing across different languages. About languages, I got no idea if it's relevant in terms of the strange spirits of time. It's just more about, it's a lot about the fact that I lived in those languages where I had to speak them in a daily way, especially Spanish and Portuguese. Actually, I'd like to write a bit more in those languages, but I mean, it will happen. I'm preparing the second album to be a bit more multilingual actually than the first one, because with Le Continent I really wanted to explore this strange spirit of time, so as you say, in my native language and tell a story. Some of it is joyous, but it's true that some subjects are quite like about social problems or stuff you see in the street every day. You don't have to be a politician or working as an activist to talk about those topics. I think it's important as well to see what you're seeing every day on the street. And obviously these times are quite strange. I'm trying to, I don't know, I feel like sometimes the subjects can be sad, but I wouldn't like to dwell into that mood all the time as well. I'm really happy with maintaining a sense of happiness a little bit in music. But yeah, I don't know if it's a good answer to the question. Elizabeth, how do you decide which language a song should it be in? This is really difficult to know. Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes I change. I wrote in one language and I turned into another. It's difficult to answer because I actually as a songwriter I start with the melody. It's what comes easily. Music always comes more easily than words, unfortunately for me. So I have to think twice. I have to find a subject, and this can take ages to find the right one for the song. But I have an abstract melody, which is actually I got loads of songs still now, like which will be released in the future, maybe 1 year or 2 years, I don't know, and it's still like on the stage of la 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 la. Yeah, it's strange. I think I wish I was that kind of songwriter that could write text and then find the music on the top of it, which would be amazing, but I'm not that kind of, maybe not yet, that kind of person. So second question by Elizabeth. How does language affect the mood and style of the song, if it does? So no, actually, I have to be honest with that. No, it starts with music, and as I said before. But it can be interesting though if you have, for example, a very sad or very gloomy thing, because sometimes I have like maybe 3 or 4 songs or 5 that got written by my friend Amélie, who is now running her project called Sophia Bot, and she's American. She's French American. She was writing lyrics in English on my music, and sometimes the lyrics were going in a very different way than I imagined with music. So music is quite abstract still, even if it conveys an emotion like a basic one, but you can put so many other things into it, and sometimes like very funny stuff into sad chords and sad melodies. So I'm thinking about this song by Paul McCartney called Junk, and before I understood English, I thought it was a very sad song about a lost lover, but actually he's talking about the garbage in his backyard, and some people said it was a bit of foolish song, but I always found it quite poetic as a song because it can be melancholic as well. I love this song. It's called Junk, an old song. Sometimes I'm quoting very old music. I should be on the page. I'm on the page, but sometimes I'm still quoting stuff quite old. Also, can you say something about your musical influences? They seem very varied. Very, very well. Thank you very much for that. If it shows, it's amazing, because that's true. I kind of I don't know. I'm kind of like a child of indie rock music from the 90s. And I'm very influenced by this kind of rawness of expression by PJ Harvey, or well, the obvious names like Nirvana, but the first Cat Power albums as well. And then through PJ Harvey, I listened a lot to Captain Beefheart, and I love him. I love his music. I think it was a bit bizarre as a man, but never mind. I'm not a judge. Yeah, and then I fell in love with soul music and hip hop in the late 90s. I was listening to a lot of I was listening to like all the NWA, Dr. Dre, and all those productions. And I got a bit sick with rock, like I was like, can't listen to that. And then I fell into South American immense scope of like, I don't know, 100, 1,000 genres. And I lived in Argentina, and I love the folklore from Northeast called chamamé. I don't play this music myself. Actually, it would be very difficult technically, and I'm not sure it would be very interesting, but I love this music in terms of like chamamé, it's called. Yeah, it's so rich. And then in Brazil really I really learned all about harmony, beats, grooves through a genre called choro, which is an kind of antique genre. Antique, yeah, it's an old genre. They say it came before jazz even, and it's a mix of European polkas from the 19th century with Afro-Brazilian rhythmic influences from slavery from the second half of the 19th century. And then through this music, samba was born. So all these musics, I was really into them. And then moving back to Europe 10 years ago, I just tried to mix them. But it's not very like intellectual. It's really like it's just like I love them. So I'm trying to to play with genres as well. I love playing with the idea of genre in music. I think it's very important to know the rules of a genre, like knowing, like, I don't know, that kind of groove applies to that kind of music, or playing with codes. I kind of like that. It's like if you're writing a novel, if you're writing in the style of Chandler, you're going to write with that type of words and chapters and serializing. Well, it's the same with pop or music, and a bit of like spontaneity and I don't know, incompetence sometimes. That's true. Sometimes it's a bit raw. So I'm playing also with my limits, which I find quite interesting. You mentioned that you worked in film. Could you say something about how the visual language of a music video adds to your songs. For example, with the video for Le Continent. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. So, well, this video was made by Jack Baraklo, who also plays drums with me, and he's a very close friend. And Jack is also, yeah, we both the same occupation and filmic culture. I think what is important for me is visual images in my mind when I write lyrics. I'm thinking about Le Continent, but many other songs like Sans Visage. And I have a song I didn't play tonight, I'm sorry about that, I forgot actually. It's called Feu Rouge, which is also on the album, which is a real film I saw in a movie theater in Argentina a long time ago. And the reel, it was an old 35mm reel, was burning during the screening. It was just nuts because the image, the film is already very full of anxiety, and the image was blowing up on screen, like for real, and it was just nuts. And so this film stayed in my mind, and so I wrote around it. But otherwise, I think it's just like a luggage many of us have anyway, because I mean it's been around forever now. But yeah, you're right. Lots of images. Yeah, visual language. That's a good expression. Words for that. Yeah, I don't know what to say else about the filmic aspect, except I think yeah, it's always everything is a process. So I'm really looking forward to explore even more with visuals what I could do with my own music. So Joan, thank you, Joan. So do you associate different harmonies and tonalities with different languages? Ooh, no idea. I've got no idea about that. No, I don't think so actually. I think it's very different. What I do, and it's totally bonkers, is that I don't write really well for my voice. So basically, I tend to write as a guitarist, which I am first, and sometimes I'm not thinking about the signature key I should be using for my own voice range. So I'm putting myself in danger a lot of time with my music. I think I was sometimes told like, oh, you should maybe think about more about that, and I'm like, yeah, I should, yeah. But and at the same time, I'm finding that quite interesting to venture in some weird territories. But I wouldn't say it's linked to my language or to another language I like. But I don't know actually, because it's true that when you talk, you speak a language, you don't have the same height, same voice, and the same quality of voice in French, in English. I don't know actually. I really don't know. I think it's true. Yeah, I think that's more most of it. Also, I really like. That's why I tried this song by Caetano Veloso tonight. I really like mixing two languages in one song, for the simple fact that that's how I think myself. Sometimes I've been living here for 5 years, so almost 5 years, so I'm kind of gotten used to English, so sometimes it incorporates my own thinking. I wouldn't say dream yet in English, but it can happen sometimes. And so sometimes I'm going to start something in French and going through English, or I just found myself many times like doing some bad translation when I was talking French, like using some Anglicisms, which I don't like too much doing, but sometimes it can be nice as well. Yeah, if you have any other question, or have I answered to everything? Let me check. Always, it's a talk, it's not an answer, because it's open. Well, thank you for listening to this very special, very special kind of making music in my living room with my fabulous housemates. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm going to release some new music in autumn. A new video as well. Actually, we're shooting it next week, so hopefully I will bring with me this interesting questions you asked about, like the visual aspect, and then yeah, I'm going towards other directions, and hopefully maybe playing live shows, even like online shows with a band could be good, very good exercise as well as a 4-piece or 3-piece band. So yeah, I'd like to thank you everyone for listening, and if there is any other questions or anything you'd like to say, please, I'm here. Actually, I don't see any question popping up. I'm going to play a last song, the song I didn't play, called Feu Rouge, and if you're okay with that, everyone, can call it for a day for now. So this is called Feu Rouge, and then that's the end. So that's a famous song about the movie theater burning, and it's also on my album Le Continent. Le pays sans flamme sur un film bleu. that was the bonus track, Feu Rouge. Thank you so much for being here, spending your Saturday night here on YouTube with me, and have a lovely evening, everyone. Have a nice end of bank holidays. Sun, come back, and see you soon, hopefully very, very, very soon. Bye. Thank you.